This is the top 3 things I've learned being in voiceover.
Top 3, broski!
It's been a long day. Been doing auditions, had a session, but it comes with the territory. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, the voiceover Baron, and here on my channel, we talk about being resourceful. We talk about being in voiceover and not spending too much money and making it happen with your craftiness, right? And so while I'm primarily a voiceover artist, this can apply to any type of creative career. I get it. I do other things as well, but my main thing right now is voiceover, so I'm talking about that. The first one is resilience. I mean, this is a general business principle, right? Like, in order to stay in the game, you gotta be resilient. But you just have to stay in the game, like, to reap the benefits, to see what's on the other side. What happens if, like, you keep going and then one day, you know, you hit a wall and you decide not to go on that other side of the wall? And usually, like, when that happens to you, and like, that's when you need to keep pushing, because right on the other side of the wall is success. And I can't tell you how many times, like, staying focused and staying on the path has helped me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my equipment has gotten better. I've been able to invest in myself. I've been able to think of more ideas. I've been able to get coached more. I've been able to meet new people and be exposed to new things simply because I was resilient. I kept asking questions, and I continue to keep asking questions. I personally don't think of myself as an expert. I just happen to know stuff because I've stayed resilient. And, like, that quality for me, it's kept me in the game. It's made me finally learn business savvy, which for the longest time, I didn't think of my creative career as a business. And that's crazy. We get into voiceover because we want to do something creative. I've always wanted to be an actor. You find that, you can make money in voiceover, but you fall in love with the creative side of things, and then you're not thinking about your business. And then you realize, like, if you don't think about it like a business, then it won't become a business, and then you won't be able to sustain yourself. And the key to staying in the game is figuring out how to sustain yourself. So stay resilient, friends, because you'll figure it out. You'll figure out that business savvy. You'll everything that you will need will come to you. I'm a living and walking testament of that. The second thing I've learned while pursuing voiceover, and this is huge, is patience. You have to be patient on so many levels, man. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with your clients. You have to be patient with the resistance that happens. As you find more success, there will be more resistance. Like, you'll be trying to find the answers to, like, how do I get better audio quality? How do I make my auditions better? Who is the best coach for me? You have to be patient with the process, and you got to trust the process. I know you've heard that before. It's cliche, but it's really true. If you try and skip steps, if you don't go to coaching, if you rush your auditions, like, I promise you, you will not get something back from it. You really do get back what you put in. Here's another example of how patience applies. I mean, like, you're waiting for the client to hire you after an audition, and oftentimes you hear nothing, or you hear a no. And you got to realize that, like, as the voiceover artist, you are the last person in that process. In the creative process that involves advertising, there's often the brand, the advertising agency, your rep, and then you. I mean, like, can you think about how many people a creative idea has to go through before it even thinks about involving you? You are often, the voiceover person is usually the last person. And then sometimes it changes, like, they are looking for somebody with a completely different voice when they get down to it. So you got to really have patience, because everybody's relaying all kinds of different messages to each other in that chain. They got to make sure that it's translated properly. It changes. There are disagreements within creative teams. New people get hired. Like, you are not the center of the world. Yes, you're the center of your world, but, you're really there to fulfill the vision of these folks and the vision of the copywriter, and to just be the voice. You are there to do your job and be at the top of your game. So like, do your job, focus on your job and do that well, and be patient, because sometimes it just takes forever to get to that point. Here's another example of being patient. I mean, sometimes you get word that you are on hold for a job or you're pinned for a job. You'll literally be waiting weeks to get word whether or not you are actually hired for the job. And so sometimes you have to call somebody, or you got to send an email and like, am I still on hold for this? Weeks will go by, and literally like the day before you're supposed to do it, they say, oh no, we don't need you anymore. And it's tough. Let's say something where there's $5,000 on the line and you're already making plans with what you're going to do with your money. Well, you know, it is what it is. Remember that you're often the last person as the talent. You're the last person in the process. That's just how it is. It's part of the game. So exercise that patience. Figure out how to grow your patience. And the third thing I've learned being in voiceover is organization. Goodness gracious, you know, like, you get into this, you want to do creative things, you just want to act, you're young, you're hungry, and you're auditioning for everything. You're all over the place. Remember I said I didn't think about this as a business. I didn't think that way for a long time. It's only until maybe, 3 years ago that I started thinking of my voiceover business as a business. So when I say organization, what does that mean? Well, you want to keep your contracts in a system. You want to keep your invoices organized. Yes, you'll have to learn invoicing. You'll have to send invoices to clients, and you'll have to make sure they're sending you the right paperwork, that your paperwork is filled out. You want to create systems so that you can keep your stuff in order. You want to keep your emails in order. Oftentimes you're hired as an independent contractor, but sometimes you're hired as a employee, which means you get a W-2. I just got I'm getting my W-2s and 1099s for 2020, and I kid you not, I think there's more coming in the mail, but I've already gotten like 20. So it gets deep, and if you're not organized, you'll go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think that this just goes back to business, Organization is the key to building a sustainable biz. And without this, you won't be able to keep track of your money, your network, your expanding network, and your time. Your time is so important. Let's say you have another job, and while you're building your voiceover career, you got to be able to do auditions and go to this job. People don't care that you got other things going on. Like, everybody has life things. Will you be able to submit your auditions on time? And if I'm being completely and totally honest with you, to this day, like even in the middle of quarantine where I don't have a bunch of other things to do, I definitely struggle with, MP3 deadlines, sending my auditions in on time. Most of the time I get them in, but you get a lot of different auditions from people. Sometimes it gets really hard to keep up with it, and you really need to figure out that system. I do have a system for myself where, like, if I get auditions the day before, I take my notepad out, I write down what I have, I write down the time that is due, and I block out times for my auditions. And so that way I'm able to just know, okay, this is what has to get done and in what order. And also, gives me time to read the email and know how to format my auditions and all that good stuff. A lot of the times you get last minute auditions. So, we're not out in the world right now, not as much because of quarantine. But when I was out in the world, out and about, getting on the train and all this stuff, when I would get last minute auditions, I would make sure that I had a block in the day where I had time to sit down, analyze my script, center myself, and just take the time to really give my audition my all. Want to make sure that you're not stressed. It'll carry through in your voice if you are not centered and grounded and ready to give your audition your focus. Organization, man. Figure out systems, figure out what works for you, get organized, get your money organized, get your papers organized, make sure that you're communicating with your people and you're sending emails on time. People love it when your communication is on point. And boom, that's it. Those are the top 3 things I have learned in voiceover, resilience, patience, organization. You know, it might seem a bit woo-woo or a bit broad, but I promise you, if you work on these 3 things, man, you're gonna come out on top. You're gonna come out on top. Top. Anyway, if you like this, if you think that I gave you some value, comment, like, subscribe. What things are helping you in your creative career? You know, let me know. And let's start a conversation. Also, don't forget to check out my No BS Guide to Voiceover. It is a living document. You might check it out and you might give me some feedback and I can go ahead and modify it. That's the beauty of Google Docs, man. So thanks for tuning in, and peace. Peace, 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 peace. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, okay. Okay. All right. I have to eat.